Hi, my name's Jasmine, and this is my YouTube page, Sober and Fabulous. This is my first video, so just getting started. I am here to talk about all kinds of wonderful things, sobriety being one of them. I'm close to celebrating 10 months of sobriety. The 20th of every month is my checkoff. June 20th, 2020 is my sober date rather. So yeah, I'm here to celebrate sobriety, wellness, mindfulness, and just share how great I am feeling, and at the same time other things that I may be struggling with. I just want to talk to people. I love to talk. Ask anyone that knows me. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I want to share where I've come from, where I'm going, and just celebrate this beautiful life that I live. Celebrate this beautiful life that we all have. It's such a gift, such a beautiful thing, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful. Attitude for gratitude. It's just a great saying that I love to remind myself of. And yeah, here I am. So I want to talk about today just kind of where I started. So last year, I was in a pretty bad place, very bad place actually, and I was drinking very heavily. I was using drugs to, self-medicate, numb, and I was losing my mind. It was getting bad, and I nearly lost my mind. And I just had a breakdown. Finally had to admit, like, hey, I'm an addict. I need help. Alcoholic here. And I checked myself, well, with the help of my parents and a fabulous therapist, checked myself into rehab. And that's a cat hair floating around. And you may see my cat. He may make appearances. So, checked into a 60-day rehab, which I highly recommend. I would say at day 30, that's when my head started to clear. That's when I really started to absorb information. But I went in with the intent to heal, to break down all my walls. I had worn masks all my life. I had, lied to myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't treat my body like a temple, like this beautiful temple that it is. And I didn't love myself. So how could I love anyone else? So I went in, did the 60 days. Then I did an aftercare program for another 2 months. And I fought that at first. I was like, you don't have to tell me what to do. I'm fine. I'll be fine after 60 days. And I'm so grateful I did that aftercare program. A lot of things happened. Life happens. I lost two of my grandmothers. I'm very fortunate. I have my stepmom who raised me. Her mother passed, and my biological mom, her mother passed. So I have two moms. I'm very blessed. And that was a lot. It happened within a month. And I was in my aftercare program. I took advantage of the medicine that was available for my cravings. And just, going back into life, going back into society, I didn't realize until I got there that it was going to be difficult. Those cravings were going to be stronger. The desire was there. I had created these pathways in my brain to use alcohol, to drink as a reward, as, pain relief, as a good time, anything, basically. And the same with drugs. It was always, that was more of a numbing. Like, I didn't want to think about what I was going through, and convinced myself that when I was on drugs, I was so much happier. I was not. God, no, I was not happy. I'd always end up in a very sad place, remembering my past, remembering my trauma, and sitting in it. It's not healthy. So going through that 4 months of being away from my, normal everyday environment really helped transition me into who I am today. And I'm so grateful for it. Amazing counselors, amazing therapists, amazing clients that were there just as I was, that inspired me and still inspire me to this day. Drugs and alcohol are not prejudiced. They'll go after anyone. And it's a choice. I don't blame my trauma as to why I drank or why I used drugs. I chose to do them. And at first it was fun, It was a grand old time. I realize now that alcohol was my social lubricant. I was so uncomfortable in myself. I didn't even give myself a chance to really know myself. And, alcohol was introduced. I introduced alcohol to myself. And suddenly I didn't care what people thought. I was the happening girl on the dance floor. So I thought. And it just became a habit. It was a cycle. Every day I did it. And I would take breaks, always with the intention to go back to drinking or using, never with an intention to quit completely until last year. Something happened when I was in my aftercare. I had a moment. I've read about it in the big book where people get their desire, whether it be drugs or alcohol, to be lifted immediately. Like it's just gone. And it happened to me when I was in my aftercare. I don't have a desire to drink whatsoever. I can look at a bottle of alcohol and just look at it. It's not calling to me like it used to. This time last year, I could not look at a bottle of liquor without it saying to me, like, drink me, take a shot. Alice in Wonderland. So at first I was like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm going to jinx myself. I'm over that. It happened, and I didn't actually pray for it. I read about it. Maybe someone else prayed for it for me. I think that's quite possible. Prayer is an incredibly powerful thing. Talk, thoughts, all of it, incredibly powerful. And I want to talk about that. Every day I'm going to make a video myself, what's going on, and just share this state of clarity that I'm in that's so exciting. And so this is the first time that I also collaborated my mental health with sobriety, and it turns out that's a really important collaboration. I have an amazing therapist. I worked with a counselor in rehab and then got my own therapist in the aftercare, who I still work with, and she uses cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and it is retraining your brain to do healthy habits, to have healthy thoughts. I can now bring myself out of ruminating thoughts, and it takes effort, it takes practice. It's not like this magical thing that was lifted from me. And at the same time, when I talk about that in regards to alcohol and drugs, that also has to do with the fact that I don't want to use. Alcohol is my gateway drug, hands down. When I was drunk, someone suggested anything, even if it wasn't drug or alcohol related, I was going to do it. Why not? Fun. Yeah. Had no rational thought whatsoever. And now I'm living in rational thought, and it's so lovely. It's, I feel like when I first got into rehab, I was like, oh man, I'm going to miss drinking. And I did at first, I was like, man, I kind of want to take this back. Maybe I'll do this in a couple more years. No, it was my time. Absolutely my time to get sober. I'm embracing it. I'm loving it. I love myself. So what we started working with in therapy was for me to build myself back up, ground myself, be mindful, love myself. I just did a great essay for my therapist on my inner and my outer beauty. Really made me sit down and think about why I think I'm beautiful. So the inner parts, super easy, and they came to me kind of no problem. I've always been a positive, silver lining kind of person. So the outer beauty was where I struggled. I have self-image issues, as a lot of us do. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I'm beautiful. I'm a beautiful woman. I am a strong and powerful woman. And I was struggling with it. I talked to my boyfriend about it, and he said, every part of you is beautiful. And I paused with that. Every part of me is beautiful. So I picked myself apart. And rather than criticize every part of me, which I tend to do, I flipped the script. I was like, how beautiful am I? How beautiful are my lips? How beautiful is my skin? How beautiful is my belly? I went there. I love myself. I look in the mirror every day and I say, "Hi, beautiful. How are you?" Someone taught me about mirroring, looking in the mirror and talking to yourself, how important that is. Starts to change that inner dialogue, which I'm still working on. That's, going to take time, and I'm okay with that. But that essay really helped me get a stronger sense of who I am and how beautiful I am and how far I've come just in these past 10 months. And, I don't regret anything that's happened to me. That's a part of acceptance and a part of release, because I am who I am today because of all those things. Yes, some of them were not nice and they're still hard to deal with. But that's why I'm in therapy. That is what I work with my therapist on. This channel, I want to celebrate therapy. Talk therapy has always worked for me. Antidepressants. I have what's called complex PTSD. And there's no drug that's going to elevate my mood or de-escalate my mood, whatever, those kind of things. And I tried antidepressants. My body rejects them. I'm allergic to a lot of them. Right now, I do take a low dose of like a mood stabilizer or something that coincides with a pain medicine that I'm on for fibromyalgia. And that's fine. I do want to get off of it. That's my plan, to get off of all that. I deal with chronic pain though, which is not fun. And so the interesting thing, then part of why I was drinking heavier was the chronic pain. In the short run, it would alleviate some pain. In that instant, I didn't feel it, but I was actually drinking inflammation. I was just adding more inflammation to my body. That's alcohol. Alcohol is poison. I don't like alcohol. Turns out I never did. I don't miss it. I don't miss the taste. I made myself acquire a taste. And I talked to someone recently, and she's like, "You didn't even like it, but you were going to be the best drinker there was." And she was so accurate. I was so correct. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was. I could drink with the best of them. I'm part Irish, It's in my genes. And I used to joke that, only alcoholics go to meetings. And now I'm one of them. And I happily go to meetings. I love meetings. Talk about some non-judgmental, absolutely beautiful people. Any meeting, any AA, any NA meeting, just a sense of calmness, understanding, and non-judgment. It's a beautiful thing. We're all there for sobriety. That's it. So simple. So, excuse me. This is another day of sobriety. I like to call it Sober and Fabulous. That's the name of my channel. And there's so many great one-liners that have come out of rehab and recovery. One day at a time is obviously one of them. And I even say to myself sometimes, I'm like, oh, it's so cliche. And I don't care how cliche it is, because it doesn't just apply to sobriety. One day at a time is about, to me, living in the now, appreciating the present moment, which right now I'm sitting in my living room. My cat is here with me. It's a beautiful spring day. And right now I'm content. I'm doing laundry, making my YouTube video. I am living in the moment. And that, when I make that decision to do that, I'm creating a neural pathway that's doing that. That brain of mine, she's pretty awesome. And, every time I make a choice, my monkey mind's always going. It's always in action. But I make a choice to stop it. And that creates another healthy neuro pathway. I am not a neurologist. I cannot speak from a doctor or scientific background, but I have enough, sense. I have my own brain, so I think that gives me some leeway in speaking about what's happening to me. And I feel fantastic. I still have aches and pains. I still get sick. I still get sad. I still get mad. But I am in such a better place. Such a place of calm, which I've always had a calm energy about me. And I'm very grateful for that. I feel more comfortable being calm. have strong reactions to things. I grew up with a father that overreacted over everything. Screamed at the top of his lungs when like you spilled something. So I'm the complete opposite of that. Something happens and it actually does take me time to react. There's a delay. There's a pause. And I'm okay with that. That's who I am. It's a fabulous thing. And so I have this calmness about me. I have a very comfortable just, feeling with myself now. And I feel like that expands around me. I'm learning about my energy, how to contain my energy and not push it on other people. Even happy energy can be a little too much for other people. This is my energy. I actually imagine this beautiful golden, translucent bubble around myself that keeps my energy in, keeps your energy out. I am working on just so many great things, and I want to share, my experience, my strength and hope, and talk about whatever kind of comes to mind. I might even repeat myself. Like, there might be videos where I'm saying the same thing over and over, and I don't even think there's anything wrong with that because I'm talking about good stuff. I'm talking about empowering ourselves. Something that I saw happen in rehab. Absolutely incredible. So beautiful. Never, ever expected it. So I have childhood trauma that I opened up about. I'm not going to get into it on this because it's not the time or place. That is a very, specific time, and got to trust who I'm talking to. But I was so ready to be vulnerable. Go into rehab and just started to, vomit, words and get it out there. I had held it in for so long. And I had someone come up to me. It was after like a small group session. I had opened up about it. And this person walked up to me and they were like, wow. I'm like, they were in awe that I could talk about it. And I felt this strength inside of me. And I felt this sense of strength coming from us. And I was like, it's fucking hard to talk about. And I will allow myself to cuss on that one because I'm talking about trauma. I'm going to try not to, but, every once in a while it might happen. It's hard, but I'm taking the power away from, what's inside of me. I have to talk about it. I've held it in for so long. Have to get it out. And then that person knew that they could talk about it. They could share their pain, and they did right there. And then we could actually look at each other and not even speak words and know pain. And also feel that release. And that is incredible. It is so powerful. It's taking the power away from feeling like a victim and feeling strong and knowing that we can heal. We can overcome this. I suggest talk therapy to anyone and everyone. Even if you don't remember your trauma or you don't feel like you were traumatized. There's just stuff that happens every day that you need to unload. And I have never experienced CBT therapy before. And it's not just, I don't just go in there and whine and complain to her. I go in there and I talk about things that I have issues with. But then I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, so I want to change this. I don't need this to sit in here anymore. And that I feel like is just the beginning. I know it's the beginning of a beautiful relationship with my therapist, with myself, with my brain, with other people around me. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be alive, grateful to have a smile on my face and just, contentment in my heart. When it comes to ruminating thoughts, I have learned how to stop them. I'll get into that more maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll talk about that every day because it's great. I do it every day. The monkey mind is always there going. Sometimes really fast, sometimes really slow. I feel like when it's the sadder stuff, it wants to go slow. And I can have multiple thoughts going at any point in time. And just to stop that, shut that off. And my biggest go-to is yoga nidra. learning about Yoga Nidra. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's yoga and then Nidra. Look it up, Google it, YouTube it. So you can do guided ones, which are fantastic. I had a guided Yoga Nidra session probably once a week, if not twice a week, in yoga in rehab. Now I do it to myself, especially when I'm trying to fall asleep, and that mind of mine is just, thinking about everything and anything. What it does is it stops me from overthinking, and I actually bring awareness to every single part of my body that I choose to bring awareness to. And that is also meditation. It's a beautiful thing. I used to think that meditation was like this, I'd suddenly be in outer space, like on a comet tail. I don't know why. Like, that's just what I envisioned. And that has never happened to me. It may happen to me one day, because I've thought about it since I was little. I do blame that on probably some 80s cartoons. But that's not meditation. Meditation is just stopping that monkey mind and sitting. One of the easiest meditations that I go into is breathe in, breathe out. Saying that over and over. Breathe in, breathe out. I learned how to breathe in rehab. Breathe through my belly. Had no idea I was breathing wrong forever. And I've always known that, taking time to breathe when you're upset, when I'm upset, that's very helpful, very beneficial. And I want to encourage people. So, it might just be every day I'm like, hey, let's sit down and breathe. I don't think it's going to be that. I'm going to talk. I am a talker. Gift of gab is what I've been told. That's an old saying. So, this is my first video. Hello, world. Even if my boyfriend said it today, even if one person watches this, I reach out to one person, brings a smile to your face, gives you some kind of reaction, then it's worth it. So I'm going to keep doing this. I will see you guys tomorrow, and have a fabulous day. Sparkle, sparkle, and that's all. Bye.